This is an Acorn System 1, which is an early 6502 small computer. It's sort of a single board computer because there is a 6502 system underneath on a lower PCB, but there's a second PCB here with a keyboard and a cassette interface on it. Ordinarily this runs from ROM off a power supply, but I've got this Gadget in there which is an RP2350 board and some keys and a display which don't do anything at the moment, and an SD card slot. And this can actually power the System 1, so if I power it using USB here, that actually then drives this. It supplies 5 volts, and I've removed the regulator on there. And you can see that there's a digit on the display. It's difficult to read that. I think if I turn some lights on and off, it's easier to read. So I think it may be just about C, but there's an 8 there, a very bright 8. If I reset this, so this is the reset of the 6502, you can see that there's a load of dots at the bottom of the screen. And that is the startup screen for the monitor, which is in proms on this Acorn System 1. Except that with this one it isn't. I'm emulating all the memory apart from block 0, which is the lower 4K. And so the proms are actually coming from this RP2350. Now that's quite handy for me because I think I had some slightly faulty ones. But I can actually do other things now with it. So if I go into location, let's try 6000 and have a look in there, and you can see the 0 in there. If I put 9A in there, then 9A is actually in that location. Now that isn't normally RAM on this system. So the RP2350 is now supplying 60k of RAM, everything other than the lower block, which means it's supplying the proms. So I've also got a CLI on here, and I'm going to swap over to that because this display isn't going to be doing very much in a minute. So what I can do is I can bring up Minicom, and here we go. So there we have the menu, and I can do things like reset the I can reset, there you go, the 6502. What I can also do, and this is fairly difficult on a normal Acorn System 1, I can actually load BASIC with the B option and COS with the C option. So what that's done is replace the ROMs, and you can see that it's not overly happy there. Let's reset it, and you get a blank screen. Now that has loaded a BASIC ROM and a cassette operating system ROM into the memory space of the Acorn System 1. So if I then do the VDU loop, you can see that I've got Acorn COS on the screen and the prompt. Now to get into BASIC, you actually type BASIC. It's not very difficult. There we go. And I can list. I haven't got backspace working, I don't think, but there's nothing there. But I can actually type a program in. Oh, let's do it properly. There we go, I can list that. With an extra Y, of course. I can list it and I can run it. There you go. And what I can also do, well, so this is running standard COS, and it's also running, well, almost standard COS and the standard BASIC ROM image. I've had to change the COS slightly because in order to get the keyboard input, I needed to move the 6522 VIA, the VIA chip that is used to get data into the 6502 system. The original one was in block 0 and I don't emulate that block, so I've moved it up into block 1, and that's the only change. So I got an image of that and reassembled it, and that's what I'm running here. But it's quite easy to swap ROMs because it's just RAM. If I list it again, you can see it's actually scrolling, and it turns out that the Acorn System computers, they use a VDU controller when they have a VDU card, so I'm emulating that VDU card partly. I'm emulating enough to give me a working screen display. So I'm also doing that, so it looks like there's a VDU card in there when there isn't. And all the scrolling is done by changing the address where the screen memory starts. So I've had to do that. And it took a little while actually, but it is. I think it is working. It scrolls properly, and you get a representation of the screen. So it's a bit easier for me to use now. I can power it from USB, and I can also snapshot memory to. Let's come out of here and have a look at the menu again. I can snapshot memory to SD card using the snapshot emulated memory. There you go, option, just done one. Oh no, I haven't. Now I've done one. There you go. And that comes in a file as a binary file, which eventually I want to be able to load back in. And maybe do some other things like decode various parts of the memory and dump bits of the memory. But at the moment, if you want to load a different ROM, you have to sort of update the menu I've got here and do that. But eventually, you should be able to just load a binary file at a given address. And yeah, so that's a little gadget I made for the Acorn System 1. Just so I got more memory, I can do more with it, and I can also save programs instead of having to use a cassette recorder.